Get started. Point out that we have neither a chair or vice chair this evening, so the existing commissioners, you'll need to appoint an acting chair for this evening, so I entertain a motion.
I'll move to appoint Rule Funka as acting chair for this evening.
Second,
I'll second.
say vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. I'll turn the meeting over to Commissioner Funka.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Brisbane Planning Commission of the 25th of July, 2024. Staff may have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Funka,
Present?
Commissioner Gooding,
Present?
Commissioner Patel.
Here.
And the record will show Commissioner Lau and Sayasan are absent.
May I have a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The agenda is adopted with 3 ayes. I'd like to ask at this point if any member of the public would like to pull an item from the consent calendar. This number will be posted. And we'll give 30 seconds, is that right, for folks to do it? And staff, I'm sorry, commissioners, does anyone want to pull an item from the consent calendar?
Yep, no, thank you.
No, thank you. $10 seconds.
30 seconds have elapsed, okay, and seeing as none of the commissioners want to pull an item, may I have the motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second?
And then we're doing all in favor? Aye.
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 So the motion passes with 3 ayes. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's any members of the public who wish to address the commission for an item that's not on tonight's agenda. Staff will post a number for members of the public to do so, and we'll set a timer for 1 minute. I'm not aware of any written communications that were received before this meeting.
Through the chair, there is one item. It's on the
letter
dais.
from Dana Dillenborg?
Yes.
That's acknowledged. We were just discussing it. Should we acknowledge it? Thank you. And none others, I assume, that were received meanwhile.
One minute has elapsed. There's no one raising their hands.
Okay, thank you. So seeing no one wishing to address the commission this evening, we'll move on to the business at hand for tonight, which is concerning a fence height exception. Applications 2024 FD1, and it's pertaining to a fence at 100 Lake Street. And staff, we may please have a presentation on this.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Commission. So the applicant is requesting a fence height exception approval to allow a 6-foot fence above a 10-foot high downslope retaining wall, about 124 linear feet long. Because the height of the fence is combined with the height of the wall, it's effectively a 16-foot tall fence. This exceeds the maximum height of 6 feet in a side setback, hence the need for an exception. We also noted in the staff report that there is a pending zoning text amendment that would in the future make these type of requests a zoning administrator action. However, the council's not acted yet on the ordinance in question, so this is before you tonight under the current regulations. The site was recently developed with a new single-family home and accessory dwelling unit under a building permit. It's still an open building permit, so this is a fence that, as we described in the staff report, is already installed and existing. and the request would be to legalize its height. Due to the slope of the property, the retaining wall that this fence is above is largely not visible from the street, certainly not from Lake Street because it's on a cut slope, and even from San Bruno due to the location of the ADU on the property. In general, given that the retaining wall is supporting a new sidewalk, there is a requirement in the building code for at least a 42-inch guardrail to protect pedestrians due to the decrease in the grade. In order to approve a fence height exception, the commission has to make a couple findings, one being that there is some sort of unique circumstance that necessitates the exception in order for the property owner to have full use and enjoyment of their property. Another is that the proposed fence wouldn't create any safety hazards or to pedestrians or vehicle traffic. And lastly, that the appearance of the fence is compatible with the structure in the vicinity and in the neighborhood. So as summarized in the staff report, the application meets those findings. The dramatic difference in slope between the Lake Street right-of-way and the grade of this property is fairly unique. It's not uncommon to see a 6-foot-tall fence in this residential neighborhood as a pedestrian walking along the sidewalk. And again, the fact that the ground below is 10 feet lower, you really wouldn't know in any other circumstance. The city engineer reviewed the fence installation to ensure there were no sight distance issues, both for the safety of pedestrians in the crosswalk, as well as just cars making that turn onto and off of San Bruno Ave. He had no issues and won't be requiring any additional sight distance analysis. He was able to accept the condition as is and found it to be safe. And finally, the fence has a pretty straightforward traditional design, upright 6-foot-tall redwood panels. That's consistent with fences in the surrounding neighborhood and the development on the site. So staff is recommending approval of the application subject to the findings and conditions and the resolution attached to the agenda report. And I'll stop here and see if there's any questions for me.
Commissioner Gooding, Commissioner Patel?
Sorry, I just want to confirm certain things. Everybody on that street can have a 6-foot fence. Is that right?
Yeah, in that district, in a setback, that's the
And,
maximum height.
And so I was just looking at similarly situated properties, like I would say probably the one on Santa Clara, on the corner of Santa Clara and San Bruno, maybe the slope is a little bit less steep in that one, but they would also be able to do something similar if they wanted to
If they
have a
wanted to.
6-foot fence. And so pretty much everyone in the neighborhood could have a 6-foot fence. This is just unique because they had to put a retaining wall underneath it. That's right.
Yeah, I think that's a situation that, again, is not, I guess it's not super, super unique, but I would say it's fairly uncommon.
Okay.
Just one sort of a hypothetical question. Had this come up after the city council had acted on the proposed change to shift this to a ministerial decision rather than a commission decision, is it fair to say that the staff would likely have approved this this fence to be
Well, the findings would be the same.
They're fairly similar.
We would have to analyze it against the findings, but I don't think they would be significantly different. So I don't think the staff recommendation would have been very different based on the facts set and the findings.
Thank you.
And then in that case, if it was ministerial, that would just be kind of for your information for the commission, and we would have the option to contest it or whatever, ask for a meeting.
That's right.
Okay.
It would be reported to you.
Yeah. Any other questions from the commission? I don't have any either. So at this point, I guess we've had deliberation. We open it up to public comment in case there are folks who want to. So what, staff, please go ahead and post. See if there's anyone who wants to address the commission on this matter. And we'll do this, for 1 minute?
Well, and through the chair, we also have the owner present, if you wanted to ask any questions of the owner.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have questions? I don't have any questions.
I do not have questions.
Nope, thank you.
One minute down, 1 minute to go. Two minutes has elapsed and no one has raised their hand.
All right, thank you very much. So at this point, I don't think that there are no questions. I don't think any need for further discussion.
Through the chair, you have to
I'll
close
make
the
a
public
motion
hearing.
to close public hearing.
Oh, okay. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion to close the public hearing passes with 3 ayes. Then seeing, again, no need for further discussion, I think we can move on to a motion to accept staff recommendations.
So I'll move to adopt the pending resolution and to adopt the findings proposed by staff therein.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes with 3 ayes. Anyone may appeal the action of the planning commission to the city council. Except where specified otherwise, appeals should be filed with the city clerk no later than 15 calendar days following the planning commission's decision. Exceptions to the 15-day filing period include the following. Appeals shall be filed with the city clerk within 6 calendar days of the planning commission's action for use permits and variances, and 10 calendar days for tentative maps and advertising sign applications. An application form and fee is required to make a formal appeal. And for additional information, please call the city clerk. I think that was the agenda item for this evening. Were there any other items initiated by staff tonight?
Just the council meeting last week, they did not get around to hearing the 2 zoning text amendments. So those got pushed forward to the fall. They did authorize staff to initiate consultant selection for the Bank of America, the former B of A planning effort. So that contract for a planning consultant would probably come back to the council in the fall. And so some work might occur in the fall, so we'll see. That's all I have.
What is the nature of what they will consult on? It's for potential uses for that building, or?
Yeah, the council's been wrestling as what is the highest and best use of the property from the city's perspective. It is city-owned. What is the land use they want to have there? What kind of design, building, land use, et cetera. So they're going to get community engagement process and then come up with a design for the council's consideration.
Okay, so there will be a community engagement too. Okay, great. Do you know when the zoning item will come up at city council? It's in the fall, but
It'll be probably the middle of September.
okay. All right, great, thank you. Any items initiated by the other members of the commission?
Nope.
All right. That being said, I think we can adjourn the meeting for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. New record?
you.